Um, let's see. Um, so let's go on into the next portion. I don't know. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on in regard to what we were talking about in real estate wise?
No.
Well,
Okay.
we'll
So
definitely go back into it later because
yeah.
we have a whole real estate portion we about to get into. So we'll get into it.
So I know you offered like the financial classes for the community, which is something we're gonna dive into later on. But I want to circle back to the Siempre Con Carino, and the group you founded that you slightly touched on. I just want people to understand like what inspired you to do it, what it was like starting it, and like your motivation to keep it going and your intention with it.
Yeah, so me and one of my best friends, Jessica, and Stephanie actually was hanging out with us during that like little time frame of our lives, which was back in 2014, when I was recently divorced and going through a lot of hardships as a single mom and as a woman with like a psycho ex. How am I going to stand up for myself? How am I going to protect myself? How am I going to make this work? Uh, Coaching myself through, don't fall for the scary shit that he was telling me or the threats and all that stuff. So I was kind of learning as I went um, through all of those hardships. And as I was going through them, and my friend Jessica was there for a big part of it. She was giving me advice too, and she was going through stuff on her own as well. We realized that there's a lot of women going through these things, and a lot of them choose to stay where they are out of like the
Mm.
fear of just like, well, no, it's easier to just stay here and be miserable, or not find my voice because I'm just here already, or he's going to give me hell, or he is stronger than I am. He calls the shots. Um, Now that I'm older, because this was in my early 20s, I think back and I'm like, okay, maybe I was a little too, you know, um, proud and chingona, but I feel again that it was all a plan that God had for me, because there was women that were reaching out and asking like, hey, how do I even get started to like try to find myself? How do
Mm.
I have that conversation with my spouse of I want to make my own money. I want to have my own identity. I want to just provide some value besides just being in the home and taking care of the kids, which now that I'm busy working all the time, I'm like, girl, I want to be at home and just take care of the kids. But there's some women that really go through that. I want to say it's like an identity crisis that you go through when you just like all I do is take care of my kids in the home. But we would go out for drinks and chit chat and talk about how we wanted to grow, how we wanted to make a difference in people's lives, and how we wanted to help other women. So con cariño, we just like it just like popped. It just like kind of like came up, and con cariño is like with love, with care, in Spanish. And then I have a huge like I love to write. I love to just scribble scrabble. Um, it's just what I do. And so we came with the little concept of the heart with the crown, and it was just like let's remind these women that they're queens, like they're royalty, and they have to fight every day to just figure out who they are. And it just became like a little woman empowerment movement. Blew up for a little bit, like in 2015, 2016. We had some sessions where It was adult women that got together at some point. It was young girls that got together, and we talked about how they should journal. I actually
Mm.
was cleaning the closet out, and I found a bunch of journals that I would put in a box and store in the closet so nobody could read because they would come in and like write in their journals. Um, they kind of knew like Vanessa was the plug to help you make a resume if you needed one. So I had a little template ready to go. And if someone would say, "Hey, Vanessa, I'm going to apply for a job. Can you help me with the resume?" I'd pull that resume template up and make it theirs. I was that, yes, you can put me as a reference for that new apartment that you want to get to start over, or you could put me as a reference for the job that you want to get. Mind you, while I was available to them, I was really tough, if you will. I would be like, well, you need to get on your shit. You need to believe in yourself. And if they would come with excuses, I'd be like, no, like you can do it. You know, you could do it. And I lost a lot of friendships, if you will, because of how my expectations were so high and I believed in them more than they believed in themselves. And that's okay. Um, and then I met a lot of people. I met a lot of people, and with that, from meeting people, I started meeting people that weren't just trying to get out of like um, those kind of relationships, but I met women that were already just struggling, single moms,
Mhm.
um, women that were battling drug addictions. So I would help them with whatever I could, you know, like I at some point let girls stay at my house, whether they were like fresh out of rehab or whatever it was, so that they can recover their kids, find themselves, get some jobs. And there are a few women that are still doing really good that I helped. And then there's some that just went back to that life, and it's okay. I hope that they know that I'm still available if they ever decide to say, yeah, I want to clean up, or yeah, I want to, you know, get a resume so we can like apply for some jobs. Uh, that's really like what Carino is. Maybe, I don't know, probably like a year ago with social media and stuff like that, I started a Talking Con Carino group on Facebook, and we have about 115 members. And in that group, we just will share anything that we think is beneficial to other women. It could be an inspiring quote, it could be something motivational, it could be who wants to go for a hike, and they'll like DM each other, book recommendations, um, I
Recipes.
Mhm.
recipes. I normally will invite all of the women on there to any events that I know that they could benefit from, whether it's like networking, growing their business, launching business, money workshops, anything
Food
like that.
banks.
Yes, food banks. Like it's just became like a little world, um, and that's really what Con Cariño is. And I'm hoping it's always on my vision board every year that I like fully pick it up from the ground and we do something big with it sometime in my life, because I do
Mhm.
think like women can use that. They can use that motivation and that empowerment.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think that's dope. I mean, maybe that's an opportunity. Maybe we can do like a social, like
Yeah,
a little mixer event to bring them in. Maybe it's like because Stephanie and I have talked about doing drives where we, you know, gave water, where we gave, you know, food, or, you know, did pack lunches and stuff like that. So if, you know, maybe that's an opportunity for something like that. And it
yeah,
doesn't have to be big. It can be like, you know, something small where we use a space and just bring people in to kind of network, or just to have a hot meal for the day if that's what it needs to be for the people that need it.